Yeah, absolutely. Stepped up to Junior GP, picked up a brilliant P7 in Junior GP in his debut race last time out. So perhaps somewhat unfortunate not to find a ride there, and he's come back to the Junior GP class for 2025. As we said, we managed to actually catch some words with him after, and he explained what went wrong in the crash, that the braking zone was a little bit sooner than he had expected. The umbrellas are coming down, and this is your grid for race 1 in Junior GP.
On row 1, and from pole, URIARTE. He's joined by Salmela and Zani on row 2. Behind them on row 4, it's Alcina, Morelli and Abruzzo. On row 5, Danish, Singapong and Mitani. On row 7, Boggio, Uchiumi and Nicolis. Row 8, Belford, Morognani and Van Chicht. On row 9.
But it's under the baking Spanish sun. We are ready to go. Junior GP race then, 15 laps await us for race 1. Eyes on the lights, and we are go in Jerez, and it's the perfect start from pole position for Brian URIARTE, the number 51. But Leonardo Zani comes from 3rd to 2nd, but keep an eye on that. The number 7 into podium contention. He's riding in P3. Rico Salmela, not the best start for the Finn. He has dropped from 2nd to 4th position.
Yeah, absolutely. A few meters ahead here, trying to pull away early on. Don't think that's going to be too easy this time around, but there's a move there from Joel Esteban showing his experience there to find himself now.
Lovely sweeping move from the number 78 up the CF Moto Aspar. Going to be in this URIARTE. Any notions of gapping the rest of the field? Well, it looks like a couple of...
And if he has that opportunity again, he's going to take it. Look at him now. Is he going to try and make a move? No, he's not quite close enough. But these riders are so close to URIARTE here. We're going to see a real battle.
Second or third time we've seen on this opening lap. Try and make a move up the inside Esteban. It doesn't stick. Esteban cross URIARTE leading in front. Will there be any slipstream into the opening corner here? Doesn't look like for the top 3. But, and just confirmation then, number 34 says that Artieti exactly has the incorrect grid procedure. Got a long lap penalty coming his way. So back out front though. Not much change across the top 5.
To this Junior GP race, these riders so close on the Esteban, really impressive. And look at Salmela here. Is he going to make it into P2?
Oh, hangs
just
it on
unable
the
to make it stick.
Joel Esteban hanging down the outside there. Rico Salmela having a little look up. Yeah, lovely stuff from Jesus Rios. Plenty of winning experience in this class, of course. And now he is running in 5th place. It's about a 10th advantage out in front. Esteban not letting him out of the sights as we see it, making it stick past Giulio Pugliese. So it's only for Rios. It's been the same. We've seen plenty of moves, but not much changing in the positions.
That's for the time being. Elbows out. And confirmation there, Marco Morelli with the fastest lap of 145.425. New best race lap. So very, very fast from the field.
Yeah, excellent stuff from Marco Morelli. He had a couple of tenths on the rest of the field there. A couple of riders in the 146s ahead of him. So
in the previous race in Estoril as well, URIARTE just ahead and everyone else fighting between themselves. And no one really managed on that back wheel.
We mentioned the heat earlier. You do wonder if URIARTE is just saving a little something, because he's had excellent practice and qualifying. Obviously qualifying to 1 lap pace, but over the longer consistent race laps at a great pace. And that had some of the other teams worried, as we see Leo firing it through the middle. As Rico Salmela now pushes it wide and drops behind this chasing pack. Giulio Pugliese then sets a new fastest lap of the race of 145.40. Always in the Junior GP class. 12 laps to go. Well, 11 and a half you'd have to say. Just even less than that. We're about to clock to the slipstream of Brian URIARTE. We see Leonardo Zani leading over Jesus Rios. URIARTE though does have an advantage, and it's podium in the Junior GP class. Picked up a P3 qualifying, which was a career best, and it looks like he's delivering on the promise he has showed all weekend. The number 57, he's actually closing in here a little. P2 last time out in Estoril, a great result for the sick racing MCI rider.
This leading group, I mean, it's a fantastic ride already for him. And Joel Esteban has now set the fastest lap of 1:45. Let's just see how much of their experience will pay off when they have to manage those tyres later on. Here we do have the live championship.
He is comfortably leading here, looking calm and composed. Then it's Zani backing up his promising pre-race weekend form, and now Zani is very much closing in on URIARTE. Less than what? Of URIARTE as we go down towards turn 1. We knock off another lap here in the opening.
Yeah, we saw earlier as well, Giulio Pugliese just going a bit wide, and that has proved costly for him. He's now
any of the riders behind. Recently, it seems Joel Esteban, Rico Salmela and Casey O'Gorman are having a scrap amongst themselves.
7. He's going to need to try and trim that gap. He's still got plenty of time to do so, but that would be in everyone's interest, especially
completing their double long lap penalties for incorrect grid start procedure. They started from pit lane just before lights out. There was a bit of a scramble. It looks like everybody's just taking their time, waiting for the right opportunity. On the last lap, Connor, very often is the answer. Estoril was rather the exception than the rule, I would think, where Uriarte ran home to a 7-second victory. Here
to that for so long, and as you said earlier, you mentioned it.
We're going to see a change in the running order here. Not quite. It looked like Pugliese, rather Joel Esteban and Salmela were lining up a move, but just second and third like last time. But perhaps some lessons learned that if you want to stay with Uriarte, you can't be battling amongst yourselves. And Zani, Rios, Esteban, hopeful, but he has dropped off the pace significantly. He's running in 8th position now in a group led by Hakim Danish, but it also includes David Gonzalez and Leonardo Abruzzo, and Marco Morelli, of course, as well.
That proved incredibly costly. We have seen a position change there. Joel Esteban ahead of Rios now, moving into P3, into that last podium position.
Yeah, Esteban, brilliant stuff. We started running, but of course, what do I know, Connor? It's a 2-for-1 overtake. Brilliant stuff at turn 6 at the Danny Petrosa corner, and that putting in the ride of his life so far in juniorGP. Very much on for a podium, but is he hoping for a little bit more? What a way to break your podium duck with victory at the iconic Circuito de Jerez and Guglielmo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, race in Estoril, where the riders had to deal with Rita as it went on, but it still was very wet right from the beginning. This time around in Jerez.
Absolutely. So, last time around, I think all of our tops. So, Uriarte still leading over Zani, but Zani, he's been watching. Uriarte has a little look over the shoulder just to see where are you, boys.
Yeah, you've got to be thinking what's going on here, but it's Salmela who moves in ahead of Zani. Is he going to make it stick? Yeah, that's great defensive riding afterwards as well from Rico.
From Leonardo Zani's pit crew, but he is now dropped into 3rd position. Rico Salmela has had impressive pace all weekend, and it's finally starting to show. 145 still going with them, but now all of this has brought Jesus Rios, and Jesus Rios is now going to have a little look up the inside. Is he of Zani? Not quite close enough.
One of them take pole in Estoril. This time around, it was the other way around, and it was Uriarte on pole. Anything can happen in this class, and that's what we're bearing witness to right now.
Yeah, Salmela looking to dish out a little bit of revenge, you could say, having
absolutely
the weekend with his race pace. So it's starting to come to the fore as we look at the chasing group here. Casey O'Gorman has dropped off. Hakim Danish here. Start to the moment right now. It looked like Salmela might have had a little chance up the inside there. Starting to heat up here, Connor, with just a few more laps to go. 4
in a better position for the championship. And there's just Uriarte looking back. They're all still there, Brian.
Salmela there about his consistency. It is crucial he picks up the points here. He picked up a win in Estoril, run away with it. Wiped out Roche Mudley, who's now gone on to Moto. The points are crucial. He started off with a P3 in Estoril. He's got a podium in his hand. On what's happening on track, it's the number 51 who leads with just, what, 2.5 laps remaining. Here we go, as Salmela fancy a look up the inside. Not quite at the Danny Petrosa.
I think everyone in this paddock sees him. From when he made his debut here last year, he ended up finishing.
Singing the praises of Uriarte. Salmela makes his move, the flying fin, and he's put a couple bike lengths immediately between them. Around Jorge Lorenzo corner we go, and 2 laps to go once we knock off another one here. On from leader to chaser, and it's getting worse. Leonardo has moved into 3rd position. Zani, having done so much of the front running alongside Uriarte, is now out of the podium places. And Joel Esteban, we said he was lurking in 5th position. Well,
Salmela takes the lead now from Uriarte, and we've been speaking about how maybe Uriarte was conserving his tyres. Is he going to make another move now?
Not quite.
But ultimately, it's Salmela who was biding his time and took advantage. Is he going to be able to pull away? Are we going to see how Brian Uriarte responds?
Bubbling over here in Jerez in the heat under the scorching sun. Salmela is putting in a hell of a performance. He's come. This is our penultimate visit to the Jorge Lorenzo corner. Will Uriarte make a move up the inside? He's not quite close enough, but Just behind them, Jesus Rios has moved back into P3 at the expense of his teammate, Leon. Lap here of the juniorGP race 1 in Jerez. It's Salmela who leads over Uriarte. Then it's a battle of the teammates for the final podium position. Rios holds the advantage over Zani. Joel Esteban lurking on the opening turn 2 halfway. Not quite for Uriarte.
Is this the
He's
moment?
going to try it up
No.
the inside, but it doesn't look. Round turn 5 we go.
Yeah, he tried to line it up there. I mean, Uriarte's going to be waiting, but he can't wait long here. The real question is Salmela Uriarte chasing him?
Here comes
There it
Uriarte,
is,
it's Danny
there's the
Pedrosa
move.
company. Corner, I should say, and Uriarte is back in the lead, and now Salmela has dropped down to 3rd position. Jesus Rios has pounced, and now on Uriarte with just a few corners to go. He's got Salmela making a move up the inside of Rios, but nothing going. Salmela runs a little bit wide. Zani looked out of his seat. Round last quarter, here we go. Rico Salmela adopts the wider line. He's got his nose in front. He cuts the nose off Uriarte around the final quarter.
But look at Rios.
Uriarte goes wide. It's going to be Uriarte who takes the victory, but it's between Jesus Rios now and Salmela for P2. Uriarte, Salmela, Rios, what a final lap.
Absolutely incredible. Not just the final lap, the last 2 laps. There it is, the checkered flag.